So today we're going to be talking about the three secrets to algorithmic trading, or in other words, how to make money trading without making expensive and emotional mistakes. Right. So I have a coupon code for you guys here if you want to save some money on our all access plan. I'm going to be talking about our all access plan today, for the most part. So if you guys want to save some money on it, I have a coupon code at the end of class today or the end of today's session that you guys can use. So if you want to stick around, we'll have a coupon code for you. All right. Here's basically the agenda for today. First, I want to share these slides with you guys. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to put that into the chat. Then I'm going to find out more about who's on the call. I already know at least two of you guys. Ricardo, I think your name sounds familiar too. But we'll get to know you guys a little bit. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. We'll talk about the three different secrets to algo trading. We'll talk about some case studies, and then we'll talk about our all access plan and kind of what you get with it and that sort of thing. All right. And at the end, I have questions too, but if you want to ask questions throughout, definitely feel free to ask questions throughout the whole presentation. Don't feel like you have to wait until the very end. All right. And before we get started, quick disclaimer. Um, you know, we do have things that could potentially mess with your money, so I want to make sure you guys are paying attention to some of the disclaimer here. Basically, we're saying that anything that I'm going to be showing you today in terms of investment results, they're going to be either back tested results or they're going to be paper trading unless they say otherwise. And as usual, just because we've accomplished certain results doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get those results, although a lot of people have been getting those results. But the typical legal jargon here, past performance does not necessarily mean it's going to be future results, right? So we're not giving a guarantee of any kind of investment returns here, although we have been getting some very, very good results, so that I want to show you guys. Cool. So before we get started, let's get to know who's on this call. So if you guys could type this into the chat, just tell me a little bit about yourselves. What's your occupation? Do you know how to code? How much investment experience do you have in years? That way I can kind of talk towards you guys a little bit better. I already know you guys here for the most part, but it does help still. While you guys type that out, or if you guys want, you could even turn on your microphones because we have a pretty small group today. You guys feel free to do that.
Sounds good.
Sure. Do you guys want to go ahead?
Yeah, I'll go.
Sure.
So my name's Chad. I'm in IT. I've been in IT for many years, mostly running teams that do custom development for corporations. I not really hands-on keyboard for many years now, but still dabble and know my way around a bit. Um, I have been, I mean, guess how you want to think about investing. I've been investing for years, right? Just kind of your traditional investing methods, etc. But probably only the last, I'd say, really kind of since the pandemic that I started to get interested in, just different kinds of concepts around day trading or algorithmic trading, and started to, dabble in those areas a little bit. So it hasn't been too long. So would like to learn a lot more.
Awesome. Very cool. Thanks, Sean. Or sorry, Chad. I don't know why I said Sean there. Sean, you go ahead as well.
Yeah, I'm Sean. I've been a lead software engineer for probably 20 years, doing senior development, custom applications, desktop and web. I've been doing Python for 3 or 4 years now. So I've been um, into the stock market 10 years or so, and I've been doing some um, light trading the last few years, just basically paper trading and stuff. But I'm been focusing on options, um, call and put uh, strategies, just trying to get more into the algorithmic trading, take emotion out of it, stick to a plan, and kind of just have it perform. Stop. I get too emotional when you see a lot of the news and stuff. So
Mhm.
I like to. Like I said, I've been in computers for a long time, and it's easy to just take the emotion out of it when you do a program. So just and
Absolutely.
watch it perform. So
I definitely agree with you on that one. Absolutely. I feel like a lot of people when they trade the markets, they do the exact opposite what they're supposed to do. I mean, that's seems to be kind of the typical thing. Cool. Ricardo, do you want to tell us a bit about yourself too?
Yeah, nice to meet you. I'm Ricardo. I'm from Bogota, Colombia. I've been professional trader from for the last 18 years. I used to work as proprietary trader in one of Colombia's biggest banks
Hmm.
in the FX markets. I worked there for 15 years, and 3 years ago, I took the chance of a leap of faith to believe in me and go independent. Like saying, I know how to do this. I've been doing it for 13 years, so piece of cake. And it's not been the case.
Hmm.
I'm looking for other ways, mainly like the other guy said, I want to take the emotional part out of it. This has been like the hurdle until now with this is being independent trader and managing my own funds. So that's why I'm stepping into the algo world. And I basically I have certain ideas, but really the I've been taking your courses lately, so that's pretty much my knowledge so far.
Awesome. Very cool. Thanks, Ricardo. That's great. I definitely agree with you. It's scary when you start your own thing too, when you kind of go off on your own. I did that, I think almost
Yeah,
5 years now. It's been a wild ride to say the least, starting your own thing.
it's
But
really wild, and the emotions really kick hard. So
oh yeah, definitely. I know that feeling. I started our business in the middle of the pandemic. So that was one
okay,
hell of 2020.
yeah, it was
Yeah,
when I took the chance in the pandemic was let's say like an easy market was easier than the last years. So I was really different. I used to work in the Colombian FX market that is way different than the stock market in the US. So different games.
absolutely. Yeah, definitely. I can imagine that. But I bet you there's a lot of opportunities too in the Colombian markets
It is
because
a lot. It is mainly because it's a really undeveloped market. So that's what I really want to do, like trying to implement this in the mainly the Colombian peso. That is a really liquid market, and I believe there could be a lot of opportunities there.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I can imagine the equity markets too. Do you guys have options in Colombia? Like stock options?
Not for the retail trader, mainly between institutions. So for the retail trader, it's really hard to get access to the options market.
Interesting. Okay. But I guess you could do crypto options and that sort of thing too if you wanted to.
Yeah,
Okay, cool. Interesting.
it's really bad in the international brokers, but in the Colombian market, it's really small and really undeveloped.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. That also gives you a lot of opportunity, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
um,
The Colombian peso is really is liquid and it's really good market, but so I think maybe there's something to do there.
absolutely. I definitely agree with that. That'd be a very interesting thing to explore for sure.
Yeah,
Cool. Awesome. Okay, cool. Well, thank you guys for telling me about yourselves. It's fantastic. I feel like a lot of you guys have a lot of experience in trading and in software. That's great. So that means I can kind of, I can skip the BS and kind of right to the point of the meat of things that we're doing here. So let me tell you a little bit about myself before we get started. I've been programming for about 25 years. I'm one of those kids that started, I was like 12 years old when I started. So I was one of those kids. Um, Loved coding my whole life, managed a bunch of software teams, things like that. I have a master's in finance degree as well. So I went to school for business and for finance. I didn't go to school for software. Software I've just kind of been doing my whole life and just learned, by doing. Um, I have about 10 years of experience working in financial technology or on Wall Street. I think actually even more than that now. I've worked at a bunch of different companies. One of them is a company called Greystone in New York City. When I was there, I think they're doing like 8 or 9 billion a year in mortgages that they're processing. So we built basically software for them. I put together a team, hired all the people, and I was doing kind of like a software manager, says product manager type of role. To date, I think that app has processed probably $50 billion in mortgages, the thing that we built, which is really cool. I also helped create a company called Voyager. You might have heard of them. They're a cryptocurrency, not exchange, but brokerage used to be. I was employee number 4 there. We basically built this thing from scratch and built it up. I basically, again, helped hire the team, kind of figure out how we need to structure this and all that sort of thing. Next thing you know, a couple years later, from being basically just like a WeWork and drawings on the wall, the company grew quite large. We became a $3 billion company at one point in time, before FTX collapsed and took us with them. But at one point in time, we went up to being a $3 billion company, which is really cool, to say that we started something like that. Luckily, I sold a lot of my stock options before the collapse, but that was still a very fun experience. Right now, I'm also managing a couple $1 million in investments. I'm obviously running Lumi Wealth. I'm the CEO of Lumi Wealth. But it wasn't always like this. It took a long time to get to this point. A couple years ago in 2008, I blew up my entire investment portfolio. So I definitely know what that feels like. That sucked. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a bit. I didn't really know how to manage my risk well. That's kind of the main issue there. I think risk management is very important. For those of you that are not practicing that, very strongly believe that that's an important thing to learn. And really, I was relying on others for investment advice. That's kind of just like taking what other people are saying and doing it that way, as opposed to analyzing things myself and understanding things myself from a data-centric point of view. All right. So, do you want me to tell you about these 3 secrets that we have lined up for you guys today?
That'd be great.
All right, let's do it. Okay, so secret number 1, maybe not such a huge secret, but for the people that have never done it before, I don't know, I think at least 2 of you guys I know have been doing back testing. But for those of you that aren't doing it, it's really, really an important thing to do. Let me tell you why. Here's my story. I told you in 2008, I blew up my life savings. I had like 30 grand at the time, blew that up. Basically, I didn't know what that guy was doing. Right? I was like over leveraging, I was buying things on margin, as a lot of bad habits that I had back then. Obviously, that felt terrible, but it motivated me to get a lot better at this stuff. So I applied to my Master's of Finance program at a school called Schulich. It's one of the top business schools in Canada. You've probably never heard of it because you don't live in Canada, but if you did, it's one of the top business schools there. So I was very happy to get in. It's not easy. When I went in there, basically the things I learned from professors like blew my mind. They really had a different perspective on investing. They're very data centric. They're using a lot of like really interesting like risk models and how to value companies and how to understand debt. Like there's a lot of really interesting things I learned in the school itself. But I think even more than just the school, I learned a lot of stuff outside of school, because this is around 2009, 2010. I just lost a bunch of money and I'm like, what the hell? How do I prevent that from happening again? So outside of schoolwork, I spent a lot of time building these big Excel spreadsheets, right? This is kind of like back testing back in the day. I would take from Yahoo Finance, I'd download a bunch of data on like the SPY and like different indexes and all that kind of stuff, put into an Excel spreadsheet and said, okay, if I put $1,000 in and I invested in this thing, how much money would I have today? Okay, well, what if I bought on margin, and calculate that? Okay, that's how much I'd have. What if I had bought some debt and some equity? And like, I tried basically all these different things. And when I started going through that, it became really, really obvious to me why my account blew up. Because when I went over long periods of time, and you can, an Excel spreadsheet, you can do this still today. It's not the most efficient way of doing it. But if you put into an Excel spreadsheet and you kind of follow the money around, when I did that, I would have blown up my account several times over. 2008 was not unusual. That's like I could have totally expected that to happen, right? So I was like, okay, well, that made a lot of sense. So after that, I kind of learned, what are the right ways to do this and what is the right amount of margin, that sort of thing, and learned much better risk management practices because of that. Um, After that, after doing all that stuff with the Excel spreadsheets, I said, okay, let me apply that to the real world. Right. So I did that with my own money. And also around that time, it's kind of a sad time in my life. My dad passed away around that point in time, around 2010, 2011, he passed away. And basically, the responsibility fell on me to manage my family's money. Right. He was always the one that managed all the money. Um, didn't do exactly that well in 2008, but I was kind of handed something like $250,000, I think, at the time, 200K or $250,000. and said, "Here, Rob, you manage this. You have a master's in finance. You figure it out." Right. So okay. So I took that and I started managing it, applied all the stuff that I learned from doing all this Excel spreadsheet things and from this grad school, and basically turned my mom into a multimillionaire from that $250,000. I think last time I checked her account, what she had was like 1.8 million or something, I want to say, somewhere around there. So it's grown quite a bit. Not to mention we bought a couple of apartment buildings, made a lot of money on those, like I think $500,000 in a couple of them. So definitely grew that quite a bit. So that worked out very well. My own money has done quite well as well. My wife gave me her investment portfolio. Before she met me, she wasn't really doing much with it. Um, I can say pretty much since she's given me her money, my wife, I think I've quadrupled the amount of money that she's given me over the past like 5 years. If you look over the past year alone, actually not even the past year, let's say since January, I think I took it from 100K to almost 200K. One account that she gave me since the beginning of the year. So to give you an idea of some of the things we're doing. But yeah, so now it's been a couple of years. Things are doing really well. My mom's doing really well. My wife's portfolio is doing really well. My portfolio is doing really well. I could show you a couple of those too. The company that we're running now, a lot of my money has sunk into this company. This company's starting to grow very well too. And things have changed quite a bit since 2008, to say the least. So to me, this is why backtesting matters so much, because I can attribute all of the success to backtesting. All right. It's one thing I went through school and I learned all these different things, but being able to actually put this into an Excel spreadsheet and track what happened to my money over time, that is really what gave me the ability to do all these things. Right. It wasn't until I started backtesting my strategies that I actually started being very successful with investing. Right. So to kind of drive that point home a bit, there's a really interesting book here that I want to share with you guys. This is a book about a guy named Jim Simmons. You may have heard of him. And I'm going to share this in the chat as well. But it's a book called The Man Who Solved the Market. Someone was telling me about this the other day that they read this based on my recommendation. They were very happy to read it. So I'm passing this on to you guys too. Jim Simons, he is easily it's kind of an opaque industry, so it's hard to know for sure. But as far as I can tell, he is the most successful hedge fund manager in all of history. Okay. Maybe there's someone that did slightly better than him, but just the fact that Jim Simons is on the Forbes list, he's if you track like investment professionals, it's like Warren Buffett, the guy who runs Citadel, whatever his name is, and then this guy, Jim Simons, right? They're like the most successful people on earth when it comes to this, right? So this is a book about his story of how he used to be a math professor and basically said, well, what if I took math and applied it to investments, right? And then the whole math thing turned into, what if we used computers to invest? They were doing this back in like the 80s or the 90s. It took them, I think, a good 2 or 3 years to figure it out at first. Back then, it was a lot harder to do, as you can imagine. Like Windows didn't even exist back then. But they figured it out. And basically, once they did, they created a printing press. It was just like insane the amount of money these guys are making. I think to date, they've made over the past 30 or 40 years, their average annual return was like 67% a year. If you do the math behind that, it becomes very easy to see why he is one of the richest people on earth, right? It's just that compound rate over such a long time period is just incredible. And it's not only 67% a year, but they almost never lose money. I think they've lost money in one quarter over the entire 30, 40-year period. And that's going over 2008. That's going over the tech market crash. That's going over COVID. That's going over the most recent 2022 bear market. You name it. These guys are just printing money like it's nothing. There's an interesting story in here where one of the guys that was part of the hedge fund, he actually went off and like bought a house somewhere that he wasn't supposed to. And it was like this really expensive house, like a 10, $20 million house. And he basically forgot about it, and the government sends him a letter, says, you have a house in like this national park, you shouldn't have it here. And he's like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, I have a house there. Like it's like that level of wealth. They're buying like mansions and forgetting about them, right? That kind of thing. So anyways, really interesting book. If
Yeah,
you want
I've forgotten my lunch one day, but that's about it. I don't forget that I have a house. Wow.
these guys, it's stupid the amount of money they're making. Jim, like I said, Jim Simons is one of the richest people on earth, but he's not the only one. Like everyone that started the hedge fund with him, they're all very, very wealthy. And this is basically his story, right, of how they got there. So check out the book if you haven't read it. I definitely recommend that you read it if you want to get into this whole algo trading type thing. It's a very inspiring book to say the least. Okay, cool. So that's secret number one, back testing. If you're not doing it, you really should be doing it. It changed my life. I can almost guarantee it will change your life if you're not doing it yet. Okay. At least your investment life. Okay, cool. Secret number two, use existing code and collaboration. Don't try to do this stuff from scratch. A lot of people come to me, especially recently, they're like, oh yeah, I'm trying to build this algorithm and I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to do that. And it's like, well, we have code for that. Like you could just like use what we have, right? Like you don't need to build these things from scratch. So let me tell you a little story. Chad, you actually met this guy yesterday. Sean, I don't know if you've ever attended our Tuesday classes, but if you ever attend, you'll get to know Worth too. He's very active in our Discord and all that. But this guy Worth, he came to us a couple months ago, and basically he had a few strategies that he was trading manually, right? So he had a few strategies that he was using to make money. And during our Tuesday class, which we hosted yesterday, when we host every single week, 8 p.m. Eastern time, we call it live algo building sessions. Basically, what we do is we put out the question of what do you want to build today, right? And we kind of ask everybody and say, it's a very democratic process. What do you guys want to build, right? Present your case and whatever. And then once everyone presents their case, we take a vote and we work on what people want us to work on, right? So one of those times, what we did was Worth basically talked about his bot that he wanted to build. And it's basically a strategy that shorts the UVXY. And if you don't know what that is, this is what UVXY is. Right, so here's the UVXY. If you look over a long time period, it basically just does this. It goes like straight down, right? It's down 100%, basically, but something like $17 billion it's down over the course of its lifetime. So you might be wondering, why the hell do you want to trade that? It's going straight down, right? Well, his idea was to short it, right? And for those of you that don't know, shorting, you make money on the way down. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Okay, if this thing keeps going down like this, well, shorting it should make you quite a bit of money, right? That seems like a very good idea. So he took that and basically built his strategy. It's a little bit more than that. It involved like Bollinger Bands as well, because this thing is quite volatile. If you do it over a 5-year period, you see like these big jumps. So you want to try to avoid these things as well, because this can blow up your portfolio quite easily, right? So we put some Bollinger Bands around it. We did a few other things with it. But basically, the strategy was to short the UVXY and a couple bells and whistles around that. So he built this thing out. And holy crap, I was like, this thing is amazing. And the backtesting results were very, very good, right? And I'll show you them in a second. And basically, Worth has been using this bot. He's been making good money with it. This is why he shows up week after week, because I know he's making money using our stuff. And basically, it's a strategy that he had. We just automated it, right? So we made it easier for him to do this, right? And we were able to even improve on it, right? Because it's like, you give us this strategy, and it's like, okay, well, that's a good strategy. We can make sure of that. We can backtest it and make sure of that. But then now that it's in code, we could even improve on that, right? Like we can say, okay, well, what if we did this? Like, what if we had UVXY, but then also we own like an option on the side to like protect against this downside risk? What if we, if it's moving too quickly, you exit? Like you could modify it in all these different ways to improve on it. And that's basically what we did. We got some really good results. So point is, we've created this thing. Now, this code that we created is available to all you guys. Actually, you guys, two of you here, I know for sure are subscribers. So if you want to get this code, you could actually get this code right now. Go into it's not in our strategy library, but it's inside of our live algo building sessions, the Google Drive. So if you want to get this code, you could actually get that, right? But the point is that really what we're doing here as part of Lumi Wealth and as part of our Tuesday classes specifically is we're working on collaboration, right? Like this is a way, someone said this the other day, like we're crowdsourcing investments, right? Which in a lot of ways, that's kind of what it is. We're all working together People come up with all these different ideas. We all contribute code. I'm writing all this code. We have an open source library, and we're basically building this stuff together. Because when we're doing this stuff together, we end up all a lot better off because of it, right? So, kind of like how they say in Fast and the Furious, like we're family, like it's family. But we have a lot of strategies. We keep doing this stuff every week, every Tuesday. We have lots of strategies in there. You do not need to be making this stuff from scratch. Basically, if you join us on Tuesdays, we could usually build an algorithm very quickly for you, right? If you have something in mind, or I could direct you to something that we've already done, or you could just use, someone else's algorithm that they've built that's completely different. But the point is that we're all working on this together. It's collaboration. We're all building these things, and you don't have to make it from scratch, right? So let me show you a couple of algorithms that we built over the years, right? So here is that algorithm that we created for Worth. This is that UVXY shorting algorithm. You can see here the graph to the right in blue. This is the strategy. Does very, very well. That's compared to a benchmark. That's compared to the SPY. This is the S&P 500. It makes S&P 500 look like it's basically flat. You know what I mean? It's actually even hard to see what it's doing because it's moving so little compared to how much this algorithm's taken off. Over this time period that we back tested it for, it was from 21 January up until basically the end of 23. I should probably update this back test. But over this time period, did 708% return. That works out to being about 72% a year. Had a bit of a max drawdown, so I think it's really important to pay attention to risk as well, as I mentioned earlier. It did have a bit of a drawdown. There's a 50% max drawdown that it had, so it is riskier, right? But the results are quite astounding, right? We're seeing a 72% a year. I don't know about you guys, but if I put my money into this, I'd be very happy. If I made, 700% at the end of the day over a 4-year time period, I'd be actually not even 4, that's 3-year time period. 708%, that's pretty damn good, right? And if we were to even take this, you could put this as part of a larger portfolio. Maybe you don't put all of your money into something that has a drawdown of 50%, but if you took some chunk of your cash, that could be quite a nice thing to do, right? Okay, so that's one of our strategies. Here's another one that we've done. Here's our Congress trading strategy. Basically, what it does is it looks at what members of Congress are buying, right? There's actually websites you can go to. You go like Congress trading. Here's one of them. There's a bunch of websites. And basically, you can go to Capital Trades. You can see all the latest trades by all the different senators and members of House. You can see this guy's selling NVIDIA, right? This guy bought Alpine Investors. This guy bought Rider Systems Inc. Actually, no, sorry, it sold Rider Systems Inc. This guy bought Dominion Energy, right? And you can basically go through and see what every senator is buying and selling. And you might ask, why would you want to do that? Well, senators are basically like the ultimate insiders, right? If you think about it, not only do they know more than you do, because these guys, they're sitting in parliament, they're getting lobbied by all these different companies, so they know all the new stuff that's going to come out. They're basically like insiders in these companies. But not only are they insiders, but they could even influence these companies as well, right? Because a member of Congress, not only do they know what's going to happen, but they also pass laws, right? So they can say, "Oh, I own Microsoft stock. Why don't I pass some laws that makes Microsoft better off?" Right? That would make a lot of sense. So basically, what this strategy does is it copies them. And we have a few different takes on this. This is one of them. And actually, I'd love to return back to this for those of you guys that are in our Tuesday class. We could vote for this one time. But basically, what this one does in particular is it's counting how many people bought a specific company, right? We'll count, over the past, I think it's 48 days. If we went through here, okay, we'll say, where's it by? These are treasury bills. Here, Dominion Energy. We'll say Dominion Energy has 1. Okay. And then we'll go through here. Nutrien has 1. And then we'll keep going through and we'll count. And whatever company has over 4 or more purchases, we'll add that to our portfolio. And we'll hold on to it as long as that count stays active over the 48-day period. Right. So that's what this strategy does. When we back tested it, we got some very nice results over this time period from where is this from? I guess mid 21 until about the end of 23. So that's 2.5 years, something like that. Um, Almost doubled its money, about 21% a year, and that compares to the stock market, which did not very well over that same time period. So even when the market was down, it was doing well. It's quite surprising, considering that's a long only strategy as well. It actually still did very well over this. Like, look, the stock market went down. This strategy still kept going up, right? They're obviously the members of Congress had some good ideas, right? So basically, just copy them. What's interesting is that this doesn't use any kind of leverage. It doesn't use, it's basically a long only strategy and still performs this well. The max drawdown is lower than that of the stock market, and the returns are something like 10 times that of the stock market, right? So a huge difference there for this Congress trading strategy. This is available in our strategy library for those of you that have it. If you want to actually pull that up, you can get it, right? It's available to you right now. Here's another strategy that we developed. This is our Iron Condor Martingale strategy. Now, this one's very interesting. We've been running this as well, and I'll show you a couple of these. We run a lot of these in our trading signals, so you can actually watch them over time. This one's been doing very well too. But what this strategy does is it's an option strategy. It puts on an iron condor, which for those of you that don't know what an iron condor is, this is an iron condor. Basically, it sells two options, right? So here's a sell for a put, sell for a call, and then it buys two options. It buys the put and it buys the call. So it's called a defined risk strategy, and basically we make money as long as the stock doesn't move, or as long as whatever we're buying it on doesn't move. In this case, I think we did it on, I think on the SPY or on the QQQ. So we put the condor on.
Hey, Robert.
Yep.
Yeah, I like you said earlier, I missed yesterday's class, but I was in it last week, and you were mentioning something about modifying it so that there's only one round trip instead of buying call and put, call and put. Did you
Yep.
make those modifications yet, or?
I'm still working on those. I'm hoping to have them done tonight. We'll see how productive I can be after this. But I'm hoping to actually get that done tonight. Um, for this one though, I don't think this violates the PDT rule though, because this one holds overnight, right? This doesn't sell intraday, right? The other one I'm going to show it requires, it can violate the pattern day trading rule if you use it in a specific way.
Oh,
Uh,
gotcha. Because I am thinking about the other one, the butterfly, I think.
Yeah, the butterfly does it way like the results on that are astounding. I'm going to show you that next. That is one hell of an algorithm. I actually put real money into it, and today actually was the first day it traded with real money.
Oh, I was going to say, I thought you said, I was going to ask you about that because I thought you said you were going to put some in. Yeah.
Yeah, I finally got the first day for it to trade today. Lots of money today, but whatever. Doesn't win every single day. But if it actually follows what's been happening in paper trading, I'll be a very happy person very soon. So I'm not too concerned about that. But this one here, this one doesn't violate the PDT rule as far as I know, because it's holding overnight. It will put on this iron condor at 3:45 p.m. I think that's what we have it set up as. And then we'll hold it until the next day, 3:45. Right. So we're not doing round trips. I don't believe we're doing round trips with that. I could be corrected on that, but I'm pretty sure we're not. So I don't think it violates the PDT rule. So anyway, so this strategy makes money as long as the market doesn't move a lot, which gives a lot of advantages, right? So first of all, it doesn't matter if the market's going up or down, right? It's not relevant to this strategy. If we're in a bear market, that's fine. If we're in a bull market, that's fine. I don't care. You know what I mean? The only thing that will make this strategy lose money is if the stock market moves a lot, either upwards or downwards, right? So if, some really, really good news comes out or really, really bad news comes out, maybe for that 1 week we might lose money. But other than that, you can see it's quite stable, just going straight up, essentially, right? It's a very, very stable looking algorithm. We have these little things that blows up every once in a while, but overall, it's really just like a money making algorithm. Just every day you're getting more and more cash, right? When we back tested this over this time period, it was about 4 years, 560% returns, or in other words, 62% a year. That's pretty damn good if you ask me. That's, Jim Simons level type returns. If you think about it, very, very high returns here. The drawdowns are a little bit higher than the stock market, but if you think about it, the stock market did 13%, we did 62. Stock market had a 27% loss, we had a 41% loss. A little bit worse than the stock market in terms of losses, but a lot better in terms of returns. Right. So that's our Iron Condor martingale strategy. That's available in the strategy library if you guys want to use it. Right. And again, it's been running here as well. I had to reset it because some stuff went crazy with the account, but I've been running it now again for about a week, and so far it's up 6% over that past week. So you see that it's actually doing what it's supposed to do. All right.
Hey, Rob, just out of curiosity, when you talk about, kind of managing risk, and when you're looking at your back test, are you really looking at your max drawdown as kind of like the key indicator for risk? Is that, or what are some of the other like indicators that you're looking at for risk management?
For me, that's my main thing. I care about the max drawdown more than anything else. A lot of people look at volatility as well. I'm personally not a huge fan of looking at volatility as a measure of risk, because volatility is just telling you how much it goes up and down on a regular basis. That can sort of tell you about risk. But for me personally, I care the most about, what is the worst case scenario? What is the worst thing that has happened to this? So
Yeah.
I like back testing over a very long time period and just tell me what is the worst thing that's happened. Right.
Yeah.
Um, Also, another thing that I like paying attention to as well is the longest DD days. That'll tell you a lot too, right? How long does this drawdown last? So for the stock market, it fell 27% and it took 745 days to recover from that drop, right? So probably started around here and took all the way here 2 years later to recover, right? So very long time to recover from that drawdown. Whereas this strategy, you could see, okay, fine, it fell 41%, but also recovered a lot faster too, right? It took less than a year for you to be back up to where you were before, right? So sure, it fell quite a bit, but look at how fast it recovered, right? So those are kind of the two things I pay attention to personally, right?
Yep. Okay. Thanks for that.
Yeah, no problem. Depending on your situation, you might want to pay attention to other things. Volatility could matter depending on what you're using it for. Like if you need this money to pay your bills, which, a lot of these things I'd recommend maybe doing something else with your money to pay your bills. But for people that are doing that sort of thing, you want to pay attention to also the volatility because that's going to matter a lot is if your account is changing by 20% on a day by day basis, it's like that's kind of makes it difficult to put money away for something that you're going to buy immediately, right? Like if you're a friend of mine, for example, once told me he's like, oh, I have like $100,000 I'm going to use to buy a house, right? And I'm going to buy it in like 2, 3 months. What should I do with that money? Should I buy some stocks with it or whatever? I'm like, absolutely not. Do not buy stocks. Like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, if you need that money to buy a house in 2 months from now, put it into a savings account, man. Like, do not buy stocks with it
Yeah.
because for all you know, that's going to drop 10% in the next 2 months, and then you
Mhm.
can't pay for the house, and now all of a sudden you don't have a house. Right?
Yeah,
You know what I
exactly.
mean? So volatility can be very important in certain situations like that, right? But for me, mostly I care about max drawdown and how long that drawdown lasts.
Right.
Right?
All right. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. All right, cool. So that's our Condor Martingale. Here's my favorite algorithm right now. This is our butterfly condor. We've spent the past 2 weeks working on this. Sean, you've probably sat on one of these sessions. Chad, I don't think you've sat on this yet. We talked about it yesterday, but we didn't actually build it yesterday. I think because
Right.
we've spent the past 2 weeks working on it, it'd be good to take a little break. But the results are quite astounding. So here's one configuration of it, right? Actually, let me first explain what it does. Basically, what this does is it puts on a butterfly spread. So let me show you what that looks like. Is an option strategy. So here's a butterfly. You sell a put and a call right at the money, and then you buy a put and the call further away. We call this your wing size, how long this is. And overall, it's four options that you have in total. You sell two here, and then you buy one and two here, right? So four in total. Okay. And then this is a butterfly. We call these the wings, right? So what it does is it puts on a butterfly at 10:30 a.m. Okay. New York time, and then holds it throughout the day. I think it's set to sell at 3 o'clock or 3:30, something like that. unless certain things happen. Okay. So if you're holding this butterfly, you'll basically make money if the stock price doesn't move. Same thing as like a condor, right? Except this thing could be more profitable than a condor, right? So we're holding on to this. If it doesn't move, we're happy. Things are good, right? We have a thing that takes profit. Basically, what it does, it's like we have like a trailing stop. So after 15% profit, there's a trailing stop, and then you potentially make a lot of money on a day. There's been some days that this thing will make 10, 20% in a day, right? Not usual, but that can happen, right? Or it can move against you, right? And what happens is either the stock market moves down or moves up too much, right? And too much is actually relative because this strategy is very intelligent. It's looking at the implied volatility of the stock market. It's looking at an indicator called the ADX. So has it been a crazy market lately? If it is, it sits out. So it's paying attention to a lot of things. It doesn't put on a butterfly every single day. And when it does put it on, it's also adjusting the size of the wings depending on the market conditions. Okay. Now, if the trade goes against you, even with all that, then what we do is we convert the butterfly over to a condor. So if we lost to the downside, then we expand it out to downside. If we lose to the upside, then we expand to the upside. But either way, we're basically moving these two over or moving these two over. So it turns from this shape into this shape, right? So notice how these are now spread out, right? So it basically converts it over to a condor, right? And then you basically have another shot at doing well, right? And at winning in that day. If you win, good, you win the money. If you lose, then you have a limited amount of loss, right? You're not going to lose some crazy amount of money. There's like a limited loss that you have to this thing, right? There's not only do we have the structure itself has a limited loss. That's why you see these things flat afterwards, right? It's a defined risk strategy in general for options. But on top of that, we also have a stop loss that kicks into place as well, right? So pretty sophisticated strategy. We've worked on this for a number of weeks now and really, really perfected this thing over time. Right, so that's basically what it does. The results are also quite astounding, right? So here's the back test from 2020 up until about today. I think I ran this a week or so ago. And here's basically what it looks like. The blue is how the strategy did. The yellow is S&P 500. I don't know about you guys, but I have to squint really hard to see the S&P 500. It basically looks like it's not moving at all, if you could even see it, right? This thing just absolutely dominates, right? And what it does is it goes on these periods, does really, really well. And then sometimes we'll have consolidation periods and then just shoots up like crazy and then consolidates and shoots up like crazy, right? So this thing is quite profitable. This is the regular graph. Here's a log scaled graph for those of you that know what that is, kind of compressing your y-axis, right, to make it a little bit easier to view. And the reason why I showed this is because, first of all, notice this is almost like a straight line. It's basically just going straight up, right? There's very little drawdowns, and it's like very consistent at making profit. Even though the profits are very extreme, it's still very consistent. And also, it doesn't really matter what's happening to the stock market. Notice that in 22, there was a bear market. This thing was making some of the most money it's ever made during the bear market, right? It doesn't matter where the stock market's going, right? Up, down, I don't care, right? In general, the best is kind of a sideways moving market, right? But it doesn't really matter, right? We'll make money in either direction, right? And you can actually see that in the numbers, right? So here's basically the results that we got. This is over this 4 year and a couple month time period. It did 3,559%. That's what, 35 times your money, 36 times your money. So imagine you put in 10K and got back 36 times your money. You get back $360,000, for example, right? You put in 100K, you get back 3 million, right? Let's say that's a pretty damn good result. If you break that down, it's about 135% a year, way, way past the stock market and what it does. And what's very interesting about this too is the risk metrics are really good as well, right? The drawdown is quite good. It's about the same as the stock market. The longest drawdown days are very short. It doesn't stay in this drawdown period for long periods of time, right? And it's pretty much completely uncorrelated to the stock market, right? The correlation is a negative 0.03%, which basically means who cares what the stock market's doing? this thing has a mind of its own, right? So it works very well as part of a portfolio too, right? So if you were to put this into a portfolio, maybe have one thing that does really well when the market's up, then you have this one that does really well, and regardless of the situation, they would probably play together very nicely, right? Okay, so that's our butterfly condor. This one is fantastic. I actually just put, as I was mentioning earlier, real money into this today because it took a little while to transfer over. But so far, very interested to see what happens, right? I put in like, I think $30,000 today. Still a small amount of money. It's not like a big chunk of my portfolio. So still kind of in testing mode, but so far doing really well. So the back tested really well. It's also been paper trading really well. Here's paper trading. This is with fake money. You could actually view it in our trading signals. You can see here, if you sign up to our things, you can see our trading signals. You can watch the thing trade all day long. Here's how it's performed over time. I set this thing up on March 6th, so less than a month ago, and it's up about 24%. I'd say that's a pretty damn good result, right? 24% in a month. Show me something that could beat that. You know what I mean? The only
Right.
thing I know is maybe Bitcoin. You know what I mean?
Hey,
And
sorry. Go
yep,
ahead. I'll ask in a minute.
go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
No, it was just a real quick question about like noticing like all your options back test data. Are you getting all of that from Polygon? Is that where you're
Yep.
getting all the okay? I just wanted to
Yeah.
double. Okay.
Yeah, and Polygon, if you get it from Polygon, they have a free tier.
Yeah.
So you can get free data going back up to 2 years. But if you want to go back further, I actually pay them this $200 a month plan, so I can go back quite a bit further now. So
You
actually,
do that for options and stock because they sell them all different, right? There's like
yeah.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, so what you could do if you don't want to buy all of it, like you could buy just the options, and then
Mhm.
the stocks, you could just run it once, so let it download the first time around. You set your there's like a thing that you put in there like has paid subscription, set that to false,
Right.
let it download all the stocks, and
Mhm.
then you can set it to true and run it with options, right?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm also working on, and again, this is something I hope to get done tonight on LumiBot, is I'm working on a thing that you don't even need to put in that true or false thing. It will just like automatically detect. That's something that I want to modify with it
Oh, I
tonight.
see. Yep. Okay. Cool. Thanks for that.
Yeah, no
Sorry.
problem. Yeah, no problem. No, that's a great question, right? Because this is like in real life, like if you want to back test this and you want to run it, right? Cool. So yeah, so this one's been doing really well, 23%, 24% in less than a month. That's pretty damn good. Here's the Condor Martingale. This one is the one I just showed you here that, was doing 62% a year. It's also done very well. I started this one. I had to restart it because the account kind of went, I messed some stuff up with it. This is a technical issue, but I had to restart it. And on March 22nd, since March 22nd, it's up about 6%, right? So if you look at the market, let's say since uh, 22nd of March, that's what, 5 days ago. Look, the market's going sideways. It's gone down, right? The stock market's down, and this thing made 6%, right? It doesn't matter where the market goes, it's making money, right? Okay, cool. So those are two that I want to show you. But you could basically go through, you could flip through a bunch of these other ones. You could see how a lot of them are doing. Our B-band strategy is doing really well. EMA trending for crypto. This one's down a bit because crypto's down. It's a long only strategy, but our B-band is doing really well. Because this one kind of does can predict the bear markets a little better, sort of. But anyways, you could kind of watch a bunch of them. Here's one, this is our B-band strategy. It's up 47% since October 30th. Here's the EMA trending strategy. This one's up 47% since November 30th. We have a lot of strategies that are making quite nice returns. Here's another one too. This one's with real money. This one is an account. The reason why I show this is because this is the longest running strategy that I have. I started this one, I think, a year and a half ago, and it's been doing quite well. You see here, this account, small account, but it went from about $3,000 a year ago, this April 4th, 1 year ago, 2023, to April 3rd today. Today's April 3rd. Yeah, I took screenshots today. It's up to 4,400 bucks, right? So it's up $1,430 over 1 year, or in other words, up 47, 48%, right? You compare that to the stock market, How did it do? It's up 27%. We're up 48%, right? And if you actually do the math behind that, compounding over time, it does a lot better, right? I didn't show you the back test on this, but the back tests do really well on this one too. Cool. Okay. So yeah, so that's secret number two. Use existing code, collaborate with people. You don't need to do this stuff from scratch. We have a ton of things that we already have. If there's something specific you want to do, we probably already have code for it. So if you're interested in doing any of that kind of stuff, we will probably have already the code. There's probably something you could already use, right? You don't need to do these things from scratch, right?
Hey, Robert, I missed. What was the name of that strategy right there?
This is the diversified leverage strategy.
Diversified leverage strategy. Okay.
So let me show you, since we're on the topic.
At the bottom.
There it is. Yeah. Diversified leverage with threshold. This is what the back test looks like. Also does quite well over time, 16% a year. Say that's pretty good, right? This is one of our first strategies that we've ever built. But this is back tested over a very long time period. You can see it's done quite well. Bit of a higher max drawdown, but also outperforms on the market quite a bit. And by the way, this is also a very unique time period for this algorithm. If you actually look at this over time, this is actually the worst time that it's ever performed, and it's still up this much. So to give you an idea there, this is the worst possible time I could think of for this algorithm, and it's still doing well. You know what I mean? Okay, cool. All right, any other questions, guys, before we move on?
Not for me.
Cool. All right. Okay, secret number three, use AI tools. All right, so AI tools, I mean, they've been the talk of the town lately, but they really make a big difference when you're doing any kind of code related stuff. For those of you guys that are coders here, you probably know what I'm talking about. I don't know how deep you've gone into it, but there's a very deep rabbit hole for AI technology right now. So let me tell you a story. Hey, so there's someone who joined us. I'm not going to say 10 months ago. I'm going to say a few months because I have to keep updating this. I think she joined us like a year ago or something. Latoya. She actually posted today in our Discord group, in our Discord chat, if you want to see her. But she joined, and basically she had zero programming knowledge. Zero programming knowledge. She was a pharmacist, never knew how to code, very far from her job description. When she joined her classes, we taught her how to use ChatGPT and GitHub Copilot and showed her some tips and tricks around all this kind of stuff. And then basically when she went through all that stuff, she was part of our class, I think, for like a month or two or something, and not even finished the whole algo trading class. And one day I got on a phone call with her, and she shows me this crazy algorithm. Like, what the hell? How did you build this thing? Like, you don't know how to code. Like, it was like 1,000 lines of code. She built this algorithm that basically would go on Discord and follow people on Discord. They have like those people that um, give like trading signals and that sort of thing. So she made something that follows these trading signal people, right? And it basically copies their trades, right? So you could take what they're doing and just like copy it and execute it yourself, right? So she built this thing like, holy crap, this thing is really complicated. Like, how did you build this thing? And she basically said, well, I just use GitHub Copilot and ChatGPT. And between those two, she didn't really know how to code and was able to build this crazy advanced thing. Like, that's really impressive. So either way, this thing is really cool. As far as I know, it's been making her a bunch of money. Not only does it make her a bunch of money because it can copy these trading signal people, but also can help her assess are these people any good or not, right? There's a lot of crap out there, right? There's a lot of trading signal people that do really well, that make a lot of money, right? But then there's also people that don't make money and they just charge you, and it's really just a marketing effort. So she was able to distinguish between those two because she was actually able to track their trades and see how they're doing, right? So not only did she have something to automate all the stuff, but she also had a way of like assessing who was doing well. So I thought that was very interesting. But yeah, so she built this thing out, and not only is it, making her money and that sort of stuff, but it also helped her get a new job, right? So she told me not too long ago, she applied to some new positions and got a job, not as a pharmacist, but working in an office doing like some data analytics for, I think, some sort of medical company or something. I forget what it was, but she got like a huge jump in her salary for learning these skills. And basically, she just put her GitHub into her resume and had explained it during this interview, and she got the job. So she was able to not only get money through her trading efforts, but also make a lot of money by her career because this new skill set really made her get paid a lot more, right? So I thought that was very interesting. So what are some of these things that you can do to use AI, right? So what are some of these things that we taught her, and what are some things, some tips on this? So here I have 5 tips for you. If you guys aren't doing these yet, I strongly suggest you do these. If you guys are coders and you're writing code, I'd say these are some very good tips to help you improve on your coding efforts. So first of all, when you're doing any of this kind of stuff and you want to build some bots, start with existing code. There's a lot of people that, especially when ChatGPT first came out, people are like, oh yeah, I went to ChatGPT and I asked it to build me a trading algorithm, and it came out with this Frankenstein looking thing. And I'm looking at the code, I'm like, this is garbage, right? Like, let's just throw that in the garbage and let's start from scratch, right? Because that's like ChatGPT is just not that good, at least not yet, right? So if you are going to use ChatGPT to make you a bot, what you'd be much better off doing is giving them existing code. You could take the code from our strategy library, put it into ChatGPT, and say, modify this. Or say, here's an example of a strategy. Can you make another one that does this? You'll get much better results from that than you would from telling it to build a strategy from scratch, right? Furthermore, you could also tell it to like, there's like certain things you do with ChatGPT. If you tell it to like plan out, right? Plan out what this kind of strategy would look like. And let's come up with like, okay, step 1, step 2, step 3, put that in there, give it example code, and it can modify that. It'll do a lot better doing that sort of thing than it would just, write me a trading strategy from scratch, right? Okay, so that's tip number 1. Tip number 2, if you don't understand what the code does, which, even if you are a good coder, sometimes it's kind of confusing to understand what the heck is going on in some code. What you can do is you can copy paste. And by the way, when I say ChatGPT, I say ChatGPT 4, not 3. 3 is very stupid compared to 4. So if you don't have GPT-4, I'd strongly suggest that you get it. It's $20 a month. In my opinion, the best $20 a month I've ever spent, right? I would spend $100 a month and not even think twice about it personally. But basically, take your, if you don't understand what a piece of code does, give it a ChatGPT and ask it to explain it to you, right? And what you could do is not just ask it to explain it to you, but you could also ask it to add code comments inside of it, right? So you could say, okay, here's a piece of code. Tell me what it does and add a bunch of comments in it so I can read it just like plain English, right? It'll do a very good job at that. It'll go through all the code. It'll say, okay, this is what's happening and this is what's doing here. It can even tell you in like step-by-step thing. You can even get it to make like graphs for you. There are like plugins into ChatGPT. You could make it turn it into a flow chart that you can actually even follow, right? And then when you ask it to put in code comments, for those of you that don't know how to code, it's non-code inside of code, so you can kind of read it like English. It will make it a lot easier to understand that code as well, right? So if you don't understand a piece of code, strongly recommend put it to ChatGPT, tell it to explain it to you, add code comments. You can make that like you can make it make a drawing for you, even how it functions. It's really good at doing that sort of thing. Right? Cool. All right. So step 1, if you want to build something, give it existing code. Step 2, if you don't understand what something does, tell it to explain to you. Number 3, if you don't currently use GitHub Copilot, I really strongly suggest that you guys use this. Let me see if I can show you an example of this. Let's say I'm writing in GitHub Copilot. Let's say I want to do something like, see here how it's like automatically, let's say, I don't know, download data for Yahoo, for SPY from Yahoo Finance. I could type that in, and then it will automatically start doing this stuff for you, right? Okay, so here's, start writing all this code. Strategy download data is automatically writing all this code for me. It's not perfect, right? Notice I have to like correct it a little bit here. But if you don't have GitHub Copilot installed, I strongly suggest that you guys do this because it really, really speeds up development a lot. And they actually recently updated it too. I don't know if you guys know about this, but GitHub Copilot now uses GPT-4. it now has access to your whole project. So you can even go something like this. I can go at workspace. Um, how can I improve the butterfly condor algorithm, right? And what it will do is actually read all the code in my workspace, go through each file, and give me a recommendation based on that code rather than just a generic query. So it's like having ChatGPT built into your code editor. It's really, really powerful. If you learn how to use this thing well, it can significantly improve your performance as a coder. I don't think it's an exaggeration at all to say that since I've added ChatGPT, or sorry, the GitHub Copilot to my VS Code, I can tell you I can do the job of like 3 or 4 coders. Seriously. I consider myself a pretty good coder to begin with, right? But the addition of GitHub Copilot, like it's just I can run circles around people. Like it's not even fair. You know what I mean? Like I could do the job of an entire coding team using this tool. It's incredible, you know. A lot of people say, when you start using it, it's not perfect. It doesn't work. Like, yeah, that's true. It's not perfect. It's not meant to replace your job, but it's a tool that can really significantly improve your performance. Um, like I said, like I'm like for example, Chad, you were there when we wrote this algorithm yesterday. We built
Yeah.
this yeah, it's crazy. I was writing this code, and normally it would take me like 2, 3 hours to build the strategy that they asked for, but with GitHub Copilot, I was able to get done in like 20 minutes.
I was having a hard time like keeping up, even just watching you do it, honestly. Like it was
Yeah, it's
pretty impressive.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But a lot of it was AI. Like I didn't even write most of that code.
Right. Yeah.
Most of that
That's
code was not me. You know what I mean?
awesome.
It's amazing. Like what you can do with GitHub Copilot is just mind-boggling. It's incredible. So yeah, so if you guys don't have it installed yet, strongly suggest they install GitHub Copilot. I think it's like $10 a month or something. You get a free trial for a month, but honestly, very, very much worth the money. Okay, so that's tip number 3. Tip number 4, if you get any errors, people still do this, and I don't really understand why people still do this with me. They'll run some code and they'll get an error, and the error is written in the code. It's pretty easy to tell. If you just cut and paste that, put it into ChatGPT, it'll give you that answer within seconds and tell you exactly how to fix your code. It is the best bug fixing thing I've ever seen in my life, right? If you're running code and like anytime you write code, you're going to get some sort of errors. You're going to get bugs. You're going to have things not working properly. There's going to be, oh yeah, this thing is not working well, whatever. You might not know what the heck it means. A lot of times I don't. Copy, paste, put into ChatGPT. What does this mean? How do I fix this? It'll usually do a very good job at that. If it still doesn't fix it, then I'll take my code as well and I'll say, this is my code. That's the error. Fix my code. And it'll actually fix my code for me too. Right. So really, really, because errors could be the worst thing. Like people say, they say they're frustrated to learn coding because every time you code, it's like you miss a semicolon and it's like your whole thing breaks. That's a thing of the past now, right? If you have that problem, put into ChatGPT, it'll fix it for you very, very easily. Right. Okay, cool. So that's number 4. Number 5, check out our course recordings. Check out the recordings of all the things that we do. For example, yesterday we're in the class, the Tuesday class. You can literally just watch me do this. I'll show you. I've been using this stuff like crazy. I consider myself a power user when it comes to ChatGPT and all these AI tools. There's a bunch of little tips and tricks that you could see when you go through some of these videos. That could show you kind of like all these little details. It's sorry, excuse me. It's actually kind of funny. I was watching a video by Sam Altman the other day, and he's like saying, what I'm most interested in, this is Sam speaking, the guy who runs OpenAI, the CEO of OpenAI. He's like, I'm most interested in the people that use ChatGPT as their homepage. And I'm like, that's basically me, right? Like, I don't use Google anymore. I use ChatGPT. I have it installed on my phone. This is another really interesting thing. If you have an iPhone, what is this, a 13, whatever the newest one is, this little button here on the side, it's no longer the mute thing where you could like turn it on and off. I actually have this thing set up so if I hold it down, it's like a better version of Siri. It goes straight to ChatGPT. Hey, ChatGPT, tell the people that I'm speaking to right now in this webinar hello, and yeah, tell them hello and say something funny.
Hello, everyone tuning into this webinar. It's fantastic to have you here. I'm ChatGPT, a digital assistant who's thrilled to join your session today. Now, to keep the mood light, how about a little tech humor? Why did the smartphone need glasses? Because it lost its contacts. I hope you're all ready for some insightful discussions and a bit of fun along the
Lost its contact. Um, anyways, you could see, screw Siri, right? I could use that button to basically activate ChatGPT. I consider myself a power user. This thing has changed my life dramatically for the better. And if you guys aren't using these tools, I'd strongly suggest you start using them because they really, really pack a big punch once you get good at them. Again, a lot of people they say they don't like using it because it's not perfect, right? But that's besides the point. Like you know what I mean? Like if you're using like a code completion thing or if you're using something like tools are not perfect. They're not meant to be like that, right? Tools are meant to be tools. They can use them. And if you learn how to use them well, they can significantly add to your productivity. All right. Cool. All right. Awesome. Okay, so that's it for our three secrets. Do you guys want to see some case studies of some people that have gone through our courses in the past? I've been talking a lot here. You guys can listen to them. Okay, so here's some case studies. I'm going to play you guys two different case studies, but if you want to go through some of the rest of our case studies, you can go through them here. LumiWealth.com/testimonials. There's a lot in here. We videotape this every once in a while. We do like a session. We go through and we get people to record videos. So there's a bunch in here. You can basically see like all types of people. There's people that were very good coders that joined us. There's people that never coded a day in their lives. There's a whole spectrum of different people that are in here. So you can watch all their videos and read all their different stories. But let me play you two different videos here. These are actually a little bit dated. I think we need to get some new ones as well. But here's some cool people that have taken our course over the years. This is Sentayan. Last I spoke to him, he built an algorithm that was making him like 400% a year. Sounds crazy, but he seems very happy about it. He's also active in our community. You'll see him in our Discord. You can talk to him as well if you want to. But he joined, a couple years ago. He was one of our first students actually to join. I wonder what he would think about our newest stuff because our newest stuff is like way better than what we had before. But here's kind of his experience and what he got. It's a long video, so I'm only going to play the first 2 minutes. I'm not going to play, the whole thing because to be respectful for your time. But if you want to watch the rest of it, you can go to that testimonials page and you can find him somewhere in here. There he is. Right. Okay, so let me play this for you. Tell us a little bit about yourself and why you chose LumiWealth.
Sure. So I am a computer science graduate and I am a software developer currently. I develop automations for my current company that I'm working for. And also I develop full stack applications, web apps and APIs, as well as for my company. Uh, what attracted me about LumiWealth was I loved some of their resources available on YouTube, which told me right from the beginning like what to expect from the classes. And also, I was extremely interested to learn finance and algorithmic trading. I mean, trading from a Wall Street veteran like you, Robert. I mean, you have extensive experience in leading teams into this in a particular branch of finance, and I was completely. I mean, I really wanted to be a part of that as well. I really love that there, during the classes we'll be going to perform like two live projects, which would give us like real hands-on experience what we would expect in the real financial world. I mean, weekly 1 hour interactions with you and with the fellow students. I mean that is always an added advantage that we have. Unlimited discussions and help that I got during my time, especially in the Discord channel that we had, was tremendously valuable to me. And also the opportunity to book, one-on-one time with you if I get stuck. I mean, that is something that is even more valuable, and that tremendously, attracted me to LumiWealth. And you don't get that in other courses or any other. I mean, even if you selected a video course, you wouldn't get all these benefits. I mean,
Yeah, for sure. There's definitely people love this, the live nature of things. Thank you for
Exactly.
that. I feel like you answered a bunch of the other questions we have, which is great. It's great. Just talk freely, right? I guess another question we could ask is, how does this class help you personally? And I think this related a lot to the project that you built out.
Correct. So beginning, I really.
Okay, so let me stop it there. Again, let's say around 2 minutes. But he continues on. He talks about the project that he built. He basically built out a bot that is looking for breakouts for stocks, as far as I can tell. And he's basically like looking at like the news and are there any catalysts that like drive stocks higher? And he's basically buying those stocks whenever they go through a jump. So if you want to like learn a little bit more about what he did, you could probably watch this video and kind of get some idea out of that. Or you could also message him on Discord. If you have access to Discord, you can pick his brain a little bit about what he's done. Okay, cool. So that's some tie-in. Here's another one. Here's Latoya. I told you about her earlier. She never programmed before. She built this crazy trading signal bot and basically got a new job after going through our program. So let me play this for you here as well.
Hi, my name is Latoya. I took Lumi Wealth's live algorithmic trading course, the pre-recorded options trading course, and I'm signed up to take the machine learning and data science course later this month. I'm a pharmacist by training. I have no previous background or experience in coding. As far as finance goes, I was primarily a long-term buy and hold investor until about a year before taking the course, when I began to learn more about options and day trading. I was by no means profitable consistently in my day trades. I found that with my full-time job, there was limited time for me to get enough chart time to get better at trading, since my work hours typically overlapped with market hours for options trading. I started to see advertisements for Lumi Wealth, and it was really attractive due to the ability to build algorithms to trade without constant input from me, and to be able to take some of the emotions out of trading, which was really tanking a lot of my trades. I loved the class. I was intimidated by the fact that I did not have any coding experience and was wondering whether or not I would really be able to go from zero knowledge to creating a bot within that 12-week time frame of the course. But Lumi Wealth guarantees that you will be able to create a bot, or not only do they refund you, but they pay you something like $600. So I was pretty confident about that. I joined some of the free webinars before I signed up for the courses. And I also joined their free Discord community before signing up and booked a call with them to discuss the courses. So I was really impressed by the knowledge base of the instructors during the free webinars and how responsive everyone was when I asked questions during the call, and in the Discord community, they answer questions very quickly in the Discord channels. The courses also have lifetime access. So when there are updates to the course material or when there are updates to LumiBot, which is pretty often, you continue to have access with each new version of the course. So all of that combined.
Cool. So I'll stop it there around 2 minutes. You might notice there's some things they're talking about basically our courses that we had. Actually, we still sell. If you guys want to get our courses outright, you can do those. But lately we have what I'm going to be showing you are and what some of you guys are already on are monthly plans that actually are even better deal than what we used to have. We found that when we sell things on a monthly subscription, people are a lot happier. We're a lot happier. Everyone kind of ends up doing a lot better off because back in the day we used to sell our courses for like 5-6 grand a pop. That was a lot of money for people to fork up. So instead, we shifted to a subscription model, and people find it a lot easier because you can join and you could say, "Well, do I like it?" And you could stay on board if you like it, which most people do. We have very good retention rates for our plans, or you could pay outright, but it's just a better deal, right? So I'll show you kind of what I'm talking about in a second. But maybe in watching these videos, you'll notice, who is this for? What are our plans for? It's for people who have never coded a day in their lives. If that's you, if you've never coded, we have a lot of stuff for you. But also, if you're a professional programmer, which a couple of you guys are, maybe all of you are actually right now. If that's your description, then we have a lot of really good stuff for you too, because we have lots of code. We have much more advanced kind of materials than a lot of other places have. So we have a lot of really good stuff there too. This also could be if you have like a million plus to invest. If you're like have a lot of money, we can help you out. But also if you're just getting started with investing, we can help you out too. I've talked to people that have a million plus and help them out. And these people are trading, $100,000 like it's nothing. But then we also have people that join our stuff. It's like, $100 is like a lot of money to them. So I've helped them set up these like small accounts too. So we deal with the whole spectrum, right? If you have tons of money, we can help you. If you don't have a lot of money, we can help you. If you're a professional programmer, we can help you. But if you've never coded before, we can still do a lot of stuff for you there too. We actually make it very, very easy to launch these things. Okay, cool. So do you guys want to know what you get as part of the all access plan? Some of you guys are already part of this. Some of you guys are part of other plans, but I'll tell you about our all access plan and kind of what's there. This is our most premium plan on our website. If you go there, you'll see we have 3 different tiers. We have our starter plan, we have our pro plan, and we have our all access plan. I'm going to tell you a little bit about our all access plan because that comes with everything. So you can kind of get a sense of, what is the best thing that you can get from us. If that's out of your budget, we do have other things available too. But let me tell you about our best plan that we have so you kind of know all the things that are available, right? Okay, so here's basically what you'd get as part of the all access plan. You get access to all these different courses. We have our algo course, we have an AI, an artificial intelligence for trading course, we have an options for trading course, we have a crypto trading course. We have our live algo building sessions that happen every Tuesday. We've been kind of talking about that a bit today already. Those things are awesome. That's where we innovate all of our latest stuff. You get access to our algorithm library, which depending on what plan you are, you get more and more access to more and more algorithms the further down you go down this path. You also get access to our trading signals, and you get custom installation and service if you're part of our all access plan. So we like manage all this stuff for you. All right. This is so in other words, here's a different way of putting it. This is what it took me to create all this stuff for you, right? It took a lot of time and effort to build all these things. So just to give you an idea of what kind of value you're getting. It took 4.5 years, maybe more than 4.5 years at this point, and over $100,000 to create LumiBot, our open source technology that you guys can use to back test and trade. It's fantastic. We've really spent a lot of time on this, and I think at this point we could probably call it the best back tester and trading Python library in the world. I don't think it's a stretch to say that. In terms of how many stars we have, we're very quickly climbing the ranks. In terms of features, I think we beat everybody in terms of features, right? We've also spent over 1,000 hours easily building out the algo trading course. We're actually creating a brand new version of it too. So for those of you guys that are subscribed or want to subscribe, our algo trading course is going to be improved quite a bit over the next few days and weeks because we're revamping it using our newest technology and kind of making it easier to go through after all this stuff. So we spent literally thousands of hours building out this course, and we're still improving on it. It's something that I don't think we're ever going to stop. We're going to keep making this thing better and better and better as technology gets better. As we come up with new techniques and that sort of thing, we're going to keep improving this class. Spent easily 1,000 hours on it already, and we're going to spend another 1,000, I'm sure, over the next few years. Right. Then we also have all these other classes that I mentioned. We spent over 1,000 hours building those, and we spent a lot of money on these instructors to actually build out those classes too. One of the classes, the AI for trading class, for example, is taught by a guy that went to Stanford, went to Berkeley, and went to Caltech. All of those different, not just one of the best schools in the world. He basically picked all of them, at least on the West Coast. And just went to all of them. And he's the one that teaches this AI for trading course. So we have really smart people teaching this stuff, and yeah, they've done a really good job over the years. So we have that for the rest of the classes. We've also spent many, many hours. I say 5,000 hours. I think it's actually been more than that, building out all the different algorithms that we have. We have a bunch of algorithms in our strategy library, but then also in our Google Drives all over the place. We have like easily over 100 algorithms that you guys can pick. And then we spent a lot of money building our community too. And that's another thing that I really pride us on is we have fantastic people in our community. It's not just about me or instructors or whatever, or our staff. It's also the people that are part of all these plans and part of the Louis Wealth community. Some of these people are astounding. Like I can name a bunch of people in there that are, multi-millionaires. They've started amazing businesses. They work at large hedge funds. Like just really incredible people part of our community. And we've spent a lot of money building that out as well. Okay. And also, to kind of, you might have a few beliefs at this point in time. I kind of want to assuage some of those. So one belief that you might have is that this is going to be very hard and going to take many hours of your time. The truth is that we've perfected this program over 4 years and make it very easy to get started, even if you don't know how to code. Let me show you how easy it is to run a trading bot. It is very, very simple. Here's our diversified leverage bot. To run this strategy, I click this button. I wait for it to load, which takes a little bit. And then once this thing is loaded, all I need to do is put in my secrets. And then I hit run and we're good to go. So basically I go into here, I'll go secrets, I'll add a new secret. I'll go, okay, the first one, my Alpaca API key. I'll put that there. And then I'll actually go to Alpaca, which is a broker. And if I go in here, actually, yeah, I logged in earlier today, so we should still be logged in. So say I'll go to here. This is that one account I was showing you earlier, by the way. This is that diversified leverage bot. Let's say we go to paper trading because I don't want to share my keys right now. We'll go into here. I'll get this API key, copy that over, right? Put that into here. I'll make another one. So I'll add that. I'll make another one. I'll copy over the secret. And then I'm not going to do it right now, but I have to hit regenerate and it gives me a secret. Let's actually, whatever, I'll do it. Screw it. Here's a secret. I copy that over, right? These two. There you go. So there's my secret. There's my key. That's it. Add those two and then hit run. And that's it. And I have an algorithm working. That's how easy it is to run these things. What would that take? Like 60 seconds? You know what I mean? You click a button, you fill in two text fields, and then you have a working algorithm. That's literally it. That's all you have to do. So if you think this is going to be complicated, believe me, it is not going to be complicated. I've done this for people that literally can't use Zoom, that didn't know how to turn on their computers. You guys have all joined Zoom. You're way past a lot of these people that have done this stuff. I've taught people that or helped out people that literally don't know how to do this stuff at all, and we're able to get these things up and running. You saw how easy it was. You click a button, you fill in two form fields. That's it, right? It's really, really simple to get this stuff up and running. So if you think that this is going to be hard, it's going to take many hours of your time, I really don't think so. Like if you can get this, honestly, we get on a call, I bet you within 15, 20 minutes, we can have this up and running for you. The hardest thing is opening up a brokerage account. That's literally the hardest thing they have to do. You know what I mean? So if you think this is going to be very hard and take lots of your time, it is not. Believe me on that. Another belief you might have is you might think that, we're a scam, we're going to steal your money. And why wouldn't you think that? There's so many scams out there. It's actually disgusting how many there are out there. There's, for example, there's someone on Discord right now impersonating me. Apparently, I've gotten a message from a few different people that have the at Robert Gresick, but it's like with an underscore at the end or with a zero at the end. People are pretending to be me, and they're saying, "Oh yeah, I'm in this thing, and give me your money, put it into some thing, some brokerage account, whatever." There's so many scams out there; it's unbelievable, right? But when it comes to us, first of all, I don't want your money. Okay, I'm not like if you ever hear someone on the internet with the name Robert Gresick saying, "Give me your money to invest into something," it's not me. Okay, because that's not what we do. What we do is we give you the code, we give you the ability to do this, and you run it yourself. So you keep it on your broker, you run it yourself. This is, and to be honest with you, from a legal perspective, if I took your money, I'd have to get a broker dealer license. So the people that are doing that, you should definitely check if they have a license and all that kind of stuff too. But we're very far from that. We're not the scammer type people. We don't want that sort of thing. We don't even take your money. So if you're worried about that, that's very far from what we are. And honestly, if you see someone impersonating me, please let me know because there is way too much of that nonsense out there. Also, if you think we're a scam, check us out on Trustpilot. You can see us there too. We have very good ratings on Trustpilot, Ruby Wealth, Trustpilot. This is independent. I don't have control over this. We basically have 94% of our audience giving us 4 stars. One person gave us or gave us 5 stars. One person gave us 4 stars. I don't know why, or at least he wrote about some stupid thing for 4 stars. Because he couldn't make our class schedule or something is the reason why, right? But other than that, we have pretty much a perfect rating on Trustpilot. So, if that gives you a little bit more confidence as well, right? Another belief you might have is you might say, I'm not computer savvy, I won't be able to do this. The truth is, we've taught thousands of people to do this, including a bunch of people that are over 65, retired. I've spoken to a lot of people in their 70s and 80s and gotten them to have algorithms running. Like I showed you, one button click, you fill in some form fields. It's really easy to get up and running. So if you're not computer savvy, that's not going to be an issue here. But then there's also the other side. You might say, okay, well, now that I'm talking so much about it's so easy, you might say, okay, well, I'm a great coder, right? Well, then this is too easy for me, right? Well, the truth is that we have one of the most advanced programs on algo trading in the world, right? I know all of our competitors. I know what they're up to. What they work on is a lot of really fluffy type stuff, right? They don't really focus on getting in and actually building good algorithms. How do you actually make money doing this stuff? How do you build things that are robust? How do you scale them up? We talk about all that kind of stuff in our classes, and we talk about really making money. Whereas a lot of these other programs out there, they're really just kind of BS, to be quite honest with you. And they'll talk to you about some theory and they'll have some ideas and this is how you code things, but they don't really get to the meat of it and actually talk about, how do you legitimately use this to make money? I could say very confidently that we're a heck of a lot different than those guys, and we get a lot more into the technical details on how to do this and how to apply the finance side of it as well, right? So if you're someone who's an amazing coder, you will have a lot of stuff to go through. There's a lot of material that you can go through here, through all of our courses, through all of the code that we give you, through our community and all that stuff. You're going to get a lot to work with, right? Another belief you might have is this is very expensive. Truth is, it is a lot more expensive to screw up your investments. For those of you that have ever blown up an account, you know how expensive that can be. And conversely, what is the opportunity cost of not making, 60 or 100% a year using some of these algorithms I showed you? Think about like if you could actually make 100% a year with some of these algorithms, like what is that worth to you? You know what I mean? So if you're thinking it's expensive, maybe think about it in the context of, how valuable is this actually going to be to you in your life, right? Okay, and then another belief you might have is I'm new to investing and I need to develop my strategy first. There's a lot of people that say that. The truth is, though, if you're brand new to investing, this is probably the best way to get started, right? Instead of getting started from the perspective of like learning from some nonsense YouTube people, right? And they give you some really terrible advice and you learn some very bad habits. It's much better if you started off and learn from like a data-centric perspective and you're doing things the right way the first time around, right? So that's really the truth here. So if you're brand new to trading, if you really haven't been investing that much, then this is a great way to get started with what you're doing, right? You'll start off on the right foot, to say the least, right? Cool. Okay. So that's kind of a little spiel there. Do you guys want to see the details of everything in the all access plan? Maybe basically go over all the details here.
Hey, Rob, I'd love to stay and see the details, but I actually have to drop. But I really appreciate everything you shared tonight.
I mean, you're part of our plans anyways
Yep.
already.
Yep.
You
Sounds
already
good.
know this. Like you've already done this.
All right. Talk to you later, Rob. Take
All
care.
right. Have a good one. Bye. Okay, so here's what you guys are going to get as part of our all access plan. And I noticed Chad left and also Sean left. And the reason why is because they already bought this. Like they're already part of our all access plan. So they don't need to hear this again. But for those of you guys that aren't part of it, here's basically what you'll get in the all access plan. Right. So I mentioned already all these different courses. We have our live algo building sessions. We have our algo library. We have our trading signals, and we have custom installation and service. Okay. So let's go through each one of these one at a time so you know kind of what you're getting. So first thing you're going to get is our algo trading course. It's a 12-week long course that teaches you how to build your own trading algorithms, just like the big hedge funds do. You're going to learn how to backtest and run your algorithms. You're going to learn how to create your algorithms from scratch and how to modify the ones that we have. And you're also going to get something like 50 different algorithms in this course alone, right? We're also revamping this course to make it even more modernized. So over the next, if you were to subscribe to us, over the next few weeks, you're going to get an even more new course for this as well, the Algo Trading course. This one we sell independently. If you go to our website, check it out, the link here. We sell it for $2,995. that will come as part of the all access plan. You'll get access to this. Okay? You're also going to get our AI for trading course, which is an 8-week long course on how to build custom AI models for your trading. It's taught by that really smart guy that I mentioned the other day, Greg Tanaka. He went to Stanford, he went to Caltech, he went to what's the other one? Caltech, Stanford, and whatever, another really good school. I forget. Anyways, he went to all these great schools. He's like a master of AI. He actually raised, I think, $15 million from Andreessen Horowitz for his company as well, that specifically focused on using AI for trading. So he's like a master of this stuff. So he taught this course, taught a lot of really great things here they can go through, learn about the fundamentals of machine learning and AI. You'll learn how to apply machine learning and AI to stocks. And then you also learn how to create your own large language models like a ChatGPT to actually use in financial applications. So you can use it to like analyze the news, analyze financial statements, that sort of thing. We'll show you how to do that. All right. This course you normally sell for $2,995. You can buy it independently if you click on this link, but it's also part of our all access plan. Then you also get our options trading course. This one is an 8-week long class specifically teaching you how to build algorithms for trading options, for like stock options, so like calls, puts, that sort of thing. This class goes very deep into like option strategies, right? Which is a lot more than just doing regular algorithmic trading. This is like, it gets a lot more detailed when it comes to options because you have to think about like, putting on iron condors or butterflies and keeping track of all that stuff and modifying them. And there's a lot of details to it. So we'll show you specifically how to do that with stock options. So what you'll get is you'll learn the fundamentals of options trading using data. So if you know how to trade options, we'll show you kind of like the data-centric side of that, right? We'll show you how to back test and trade option algorithms. And then we give you, I say 10 here, I think there's actually more than 10 now, option strategies that use options that you can get right out of the box with this course. We normally sell it for $2,995, but again, it's part of the all access plan as well. Right? Then we also have our crypto algorithms course. So if you want to learn how to build algorithms for crypto, again, there's specific things to crypto. You could take our algo trading course, which is the foundation, and then like expand out to do it for options, expand out to do it for crypto. This is, one of those things. And we'll show you basically how to connect all these different brokers. How do you connect to Binance or Coinbase or Kraken or KuCoin or whatever, right? We'll show you how to do that. We'll show you how to trade the coins. There's a bunch of like little details around trading crypto. So when you join this course, you'll learn how to apply all these algo trading strategies to cryptocurrencies, and you'll also get 15 strategies right out of the box as well. Right? Normally we sell this for $2,995. Again, it's part of this all access plan. Right? So far, we're talking about something like $11,980 worth of value because we have 4 courses that we normally sell for about $3,000 a pop. So when you join our all access plan, you'll get this right out of the box. Right? Okay, cool. Some other things you'll also get our live algo building sessions, which we've been talking about this quite a bit today. This is a fantastic class. Basically, we host it every Tuesday. It's live, and people will come in and they'll say, well, I'm usually the one that's teaching this, although we're probably going to get more instructors soon because it's growing quite quickly. But basically, people will come in and I'll ask the question, what do you guys want to build today? And people will say, oh yeah, well, I want to work on, like yesterday we worked on a strategy that does swing trading, right? He's like, oh, I have a swing trading idea. Basically, you look at the past week's worth of data, you get the midpoint, and then if you're above the midpoint, you want to go long. If you're below, then you go short. And like that was an idea. Another idea was like, doing a stock breakout strategy. So someone talked about that as well. And basically, we took a vote and said, what do you want to work on? And people said, okay, we wanted to build out these 2 strategies. So we built them out during the class live. So you can actually watch these things getting built. You can see how to actually build these strategies. So you're learning basically by seeing it getting done. But then also, if you have a strategy that you have in mind, you could just bring it up and we could actually build it as part of that class, right? So this is a very innovative class. We're constantly building new strategies over and over and over again. Some of the strategies I showed you earlier where basically like the like butterfly strategy that had like 135% a year return. We built it in this class. This is where it came from. This is the innovation center. Okay, so usually if you want to join this kind of a class, or if you want to get something like this, you're probably going to be paying about $200 an hour for an engineer that actually knows what the hell they're doing with this stuff, that not only knows and not only knows programming, but also knows how to apply this to the investment world. These people are expensive. I usually charge $200 an hour, right? Um, and we do this for about 4 hours every week, and we do this 4 weeks out of every month. So if you think about it, it's kind of like you're hiring me or a very good programmer like myself in the financial space for 4 hours every week for the month, right? So if you do the math, that's about $3,200 a month that you have to spend to do this sort of thing, right? That is going to be included as part of the all access plan. You get access to that too, right? And this is honestly, if I think this one thing alone, if you guys got this one thing alone, the all access plan will be worth it just because of this one thing right here. But you also get more. You also get our trading signals, which basically looks like this. You can follow our algorithms. So here's our double EMA trending strategy. Here's our Bollinger Band strategy. Here's our butterfly condor. And you can watch them trade. You can see how they do every day. You can see what trades got placed. If you wanted to, you could just copy them, right? Like you don't even have to like run the algorithm if you don't want to. You could just see what's going on here and say, okay, this thing placed a trade at 10:30 a.m. Let's just copy what it did, right? So you go ahead and do that. And when you go around the internet, there's actually a lot of companies that do this sort of thing, and they tend to charge quite a bit of money, right? I know a company in particular that's speaking to recently. They charge $5,000 a year for their product, and they have pretty much the same returns that we do. But the difference is that they only have one strategy as opposed to we'll give you 100 different strategies. And they only have one strategy that does, quite well over the time, but we have the same thing, right? Like we have strategies that do just as well as theirs, and we give you much more strategies, and we give you all the training signals for all those. So if you think about it, that that these guys that I'm talking about, they charge $5,000 a year. A lot of them will charge monthly as well. For something like this that we have, if you go out amongst our competitors, you'll probably be paying something like $500 a month for the trading signals alone. And we're giving you the code, and we're giving you 100 different strategies. They're usually going to give you one or two or three for $500 a month. We're going to give you 100, and we're going to give you ones that probably perform even better than what they have with more data to back it up, right? So usually if you want to buy something like this, you'll probably pay $499 a month, but you don't have to pay that. You can get that included as part of the all access plan as well, right? This is kind of what it looks like. You can see here on your phone. You get notifications to your phone, so you'll know when everything's trading and what it's doing and all that sort of thing. Yeah. So if you add all that up, that works out to being about $11,980 for all those courses. And then if you want to get the live algo building sessions and trading signals from other places, you'd probably end up paying about $3,700 a month for that, right? So that's so far the types of value that you're going to get. But then you're also going to get something that's extremely valuable, is our algorithm library. This is what it looks like. I showed you what it looked like a little earlier, but here's another sample of it. You can go into GitHub, you'll get access to this. We'll give you access to all this stuff. And we have all these different strategies in here. We don't have all of our strategies in here yet, but we're slowly moving them over. We're adding more and more every week, basically. You'll notice basically every week you'll see a new strategy in there. And you can go into here and you can click into them. And you could say, well, what is this strategy about? You can go into here, you can read about the description, what it does. You have that one button where you can like click to actually have this thing up and running. Super easy, like I showed you. You click this button, you fill in two form fields, and you have the algorithm running. It also describes to you what else you could do with it. You could like send messages to Discord. You can back test it. You could do all that kind of stuff too. And then we'll also show you all the back testing results of all these algorithms. So here's that one in particular, 135% a year returns. You can kind of go through each one of them and just see which one do you want to run? Do you like this strategy? Do you like that strategy? If you want to run it, click a button and you can run this thing, right? Now, if you think about it, this is probably the most valuable thing that you get out of signing up to Lumi Wealth. right? Is to get access to this thing. Because right now, serious talking up. Right now, we have about 15 strategies in there. As I said, we're adding them very, very quickly. Our best strategy had a backtesting result of about 159% a year. That was our best backtesting result that we have in that strategy library. And it has a wide variety of different algorithms. We have crypto, we have stocks, we have options, we have day trading algorithms, we have long-term algorithms, we have ones that use AI, we have ones that use third-party data sources, we have price action ones that do like breakouts and moving average, we have all sorts of stuff in here. We have the whole spectrum of different asset classes and different types of algorithms, ones that trade very often and ones that don't trade very often. You get the whole spectrum of them in there as well. If you think about it, to build something like this would cost a lot of money. Easily, it's taken over 1,000 hours to build all these algorithms. Easily, right? If you think about like how many hours it takes to build an algorithm, but then is it a good one? You keep trying and do a whole bunch of different ones. If you wanted to build this stuff from scratch, I bet you it would cost you something like $200,000 to build this thing. That is how much effort we have put into this strategy library. We have some incredible algorithms in there, very well polished. They've been running, they've been tested, they've been back tested, they've been tested with paper trading, they've been tested with real money. These things are actually good and very well built algorithms that you can get access to, right? Again, if you want to build this stuff yourself from scratch, you'd probably spend like 1,000 hours building it. And again, if we're talking about a developer, $200 an hour, that'll probably cost you like $200,000 to make this thing. It's quite a valuable piece of technology that you're getting, right? But you're not going to pay 200,000. You're not going to pay anywhere near that, but you are going to get that as part of the all access plan, right? Then you're also going to get one more thing. And when you buy our all access plan, you're also going to get custom installation and service. So if you want us to basically walk you through everything, make sure you're all set up, monitor your algorithms, make sure that they're working well, we'll do all of that for you. Usually, if you want to do something like this, you probably pay $1,000 to someone to do all the work for you. We'll do that as part of the all access plan for free, as part of if you join our service, right? So in summary, you're going to get all these different courses, $2,995 each. So those all add up to something like $12,000 for all those different courses. You're going to get the custom installation that's worth about $1,000. You're going to get this algorithm library. This thing is incredible, has really amazing algorithms in there. If you want to build that yourself, probably costs like $200,000. You're going to get our live algo building sessions, the things that we host every Tuesday, that we really innovate some amazing stuff. I'd say this is almost priceless because this is where all of our innovation is coming from. You get that, which would, if you want to hire a developer to do that for you, $3,200 a month, easy to do that. And then you're going to get our trading signals. So if you want to go to one of our competitors that have similar results to us, or maybe even worse, we actually have really good trading strategies at this point in time. We've been doing this a long time. If you want to go to one of our competitors, you'd probably be paying them like $500 a month for their signals. That might not be even as good as ours, So in total, if you want to do this independently from our all access plan, you'd probably be paying something like $211,000, $212,000 to build all this stuff. And then you'd probably be paying like $3,700 a month to keep maintaining all this stuff, right? That's a lot of money, right? We've made it a heck of a lot cheaper for you, right? So before I tell you how much we charge, right? Let me first give you guys a coupon code because I promised you if you stick around to the end, I'll give you a coupon code. Here's a coupon code for 20% off. I'm going to share this with you in the chat. If you type this in, RFRWMA, when you check out from our homepage, so let's say you go here, lumiwealth.com. This gives away the prices, but if you pick any one of our plans, not just the all access plan, if you pick any of our plans, you check out with it, you use that coupon code, you'll save yourself 20% off. All right. So that's my gift to you for attending today. All right. However, this coupon code does not last forever. I did set it up to expire tomorrow. So tomorrow at 10 p.m. Eastern, it's going to expire. So if you want to save that 20% off, make sure you use it by tomorrow. All right. Okay. So how much does it cost? You may have already seen that on the website. It's not going to cost you $200,000. It's not going to cost you $3,700 a month. Nowhere near that. Okay. What we charge for it is $799 per month. Honestly, I think we could probably charge a heck of a lot more for this. We'll probably be raising this price very soon because we definitely have a lot of demand for our products. But $7.99 a month for something that if you went off on your own, you would have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to basically replicate what we have. And we're going to give you that for 800 bucks a month. No commitment. You can sign up for 1 month. If you don't want to continue, you don't have to. A lot of people do decide to continue because they get a lot of value out of it. But that's essentially what it is. $7.99 a month. And you get that extra 20% off the coupon code that I gave you guys as well. If that seems a bit out of reach, we do have some other plans as well. As I mentioned on our homepage, we have our Pro plan, we have our Star plan as well. It's not going to include everything that I showed you today, but if for some reason the $7.99 a month is too much, if you think about it, if you think about how much this can help you with your investments and how much money you can make off this in the long run, that's actually really damn cheap. Again, we kind of went through that, but you do have a different selection of things you can go through as well. Either way, you get that extra 20% off. So $7.99 a month minus 20%, you're spending more like $540 a month or something like that, I think is what it works out to. Right. So you're not spending the full 800, you're getting it for a lot cheaper actually. Right. Okay, or if you want to save some money, you could also get the annual plan. Instead of paying monthly, you could pay an annual, and that saves you 31% as well, right? If you actually do the math, go 800 times 12, subtract 31%, that's what comes out. It comes out to 6,695 per year. So you can save a heck of a lot of money by buying this in the annual plan instead. All right, let me share with you the link to this all access plan here. There's the all access. And basically go in here and talks about all the things I talked about here in our presentation, all the different things that you get. And you just go down here, add to cart for the monthly, or you can add to cart for the annual, and you can check out and use that coupon code. If you use it by tomorrow, you get that extra 20% off, which is quite a bit of money if you think about it. You'll save a lot using that. Okay. So to say it a different way, if you had to do this on your own, what would it take for you to build this stuff on your own? If you didn't go through our plan, you'd probably have to spend hundreds of hours learning how to create algorithms. Even if you are a coder, it still takes a long time to figure out how to do this sort of thing. It is quite complicated to not just write code, but to actually learn how to apply that to the finance world. How do you get data? How do you do all that sort of thing? And then once you've learned that, how do you actually make algorithms that make money? That's a really hard thing to do, right? So you probably spend hundreds of hours just learning how to do this stuff, right? Then you'll probably have to build a bunch of these different algorithms. Let's say if you hired a developer, right? Let's say, I charge 200 bucks an hour. Let's say you get someone for even cheaper, 150 bucks an hour. A typical algorithm probably takes about 20 hours to build. So we're thinking about $3,000 per algorithm is what will cost you to build this thing out. Is that going to be a good algorithm? Is it not? You don't know, right? It's like you kind of roll the dice on that sort of thing. So you're probably going to have to do more than one algorithm, or you're probably going to have to keep refining it over time. That one algorithm is probably not going to satisfy it. Or what you could do instead of going through that process and maybe getting something that works, and maybe it's a good idea, maybe it's not. Instead, you can come to us and we can give you 100 different algorithms that we've basically gone through them. We've already back tested them for you. You can already see which one's good, which one's not. We can rank them for you, and I could tell you exactly what are the best algorithms you have, and you can launch them with one single button click, and you could be done with it. Instead of spending, in this case, if you think about 100 algorithms times $3,000 an algorithm, $300,000, instead of spending all that money to build out algorithms. If you spend 300,000, you'll probably eventually find some that work out well, right? But it will take a while before you kind of get to the point that we've gotten to over the years. So, we can basically save you all that work, all that time and effort, all that money, and save you, potentially mistakes that cost you thousands of dollars, if not more, if you just sign up to our product and basically get the shortcut, right? 800 bucks a month minus the 20%, is that worth you getting these algorithms that could potentially make you, 130, 140, 150% a year? I'd say that's a pretty damn good deal. Okay, but if you're not fully convinced, we also do have a guarantee. If for whatever reason you're not happy with our program, if you don't like it for whatever reason, this never happens, so I don't really care. I can do this for longer. I don't care. People stick around for a long time because they're very happy going through our products. But if for whatever reason you're not happy, we have a full refund after 30 days. So you signed up, you hate it, you want your money back. I'm not even going to ask any questions. I'll give you your money back. I could easily say that because no one ever really does that because they tend to be very happy what they get from with what they get from us. All right, okay, cool. So that's pretty much it. Clock's ticking. This coupon code expires in 24 hours. You have up until tomorrow at 10 p.m. Eastern to get 20% off using this coupon code. So feel free to go through that. You get on the all access plan. Also, if you want to use it on our other programs like our pro plan or our star plan, you could use that there as well. Our all access plan obviously is our most full featured, has everything. But our pro plan also comes with a lot of the stuff in the strategy libraries. If you want to get things a little cheaper, you could do it that way too. But either way, you have 24 hours to use this coupon code however you wish. All right. Cool. All right. That being said, that's pretty much it for our presentation. Do you guys have any questions around anything that we covered today?
Hi.
Hi.
So you rest assured I've been listening. Um, I don't really have any questions. I must say, great presentation.
You.
I am deciding whether to take one of your courses or not, and I have a bit of, I do know how to code. I wouldn't say I'm an exceptional programmer, but I know one or two things. But I have no knowledge of how to invest, or I have no, hold on, buddy. I have no investment knowledge. So I'm still in the process of deciding whether this is the right fit for me or not. But I just wanted to put that out there, and thank you for this presentation. It's really great.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, so I mean, if you are a developer, and by the way, I know the feeling with the kid. I can hear my kid screaming in the background too. So as I know the feeling. I just got I have a 5-week-old in my house right now, so I definitely know what's going on there. Um, but yeah, so if you're someone who knows how to code and you don't know much about the financial markets, you're very much in line with a lot of people that join our program. A lot of people join like that. We kind of get two groups of people. We get either people that have never coded before but are very good with finance, and we get people that are very good coders and don't know how to do the finance side. So if you were to join, know that you'd be very much in line with the typical people that buy our programs. So I just want to put that out there. But also, I think it's a really good thing if you have this coding knowledge, like you can really leverage that to significantly improve your results with investing. A lot of people when they get into investing, they kind of do like they trade off emotions basically, right? Is like people say like, oh, this seems like a good stock to buy, and this seems like a good thing to do, or some friend told me about it or whatever. That's how most people do their investing. The fact that you're using data, you're back testing things. You missed the beginning of the presentation, but I showed kind of a story of how when I started doing back testing, I went from myself personally, I blew up an account in 2008 because I didn't know what the heck I was doing. As soon as I started back testing my algorithms and using like a data centric approach to investing, things changed dramatically, right? Like I went from losing money and blowing up my account to, I basically helped retire my mother. My wife's portfolio has been flying through the roof. My money's been doing very well. So the fact that you have that coding background and you want to apply that to the world of finance, I think that alone is a very, very good idea, right? Whether you go with us or not, I just want to say that that's a fantastic thing for you to be doing. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that. We do have 23 hours to decide, so I will think about it, and if I do decide to join, I will be excited to learn more.
Awesome. Sounds great. If you have any more questions, feel free. You can go to our website, lumiwealth.com. There's a book a call link here under more. You can book a call. You could also talk to someone on our team that could explain more of this stuff to you and really walk through a lot of it in detail if you want. You could also feel free to email me too. I'll give you my email. So if you need any help, if you have any questions or whatever, feel free to reach out. All right.
Okay. All right.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Cool. No problem. Awesome. Cool. Any other questions, guys?
I have
Ricardo.
a couple.
Sure, yeah, go
First,
ahead.
I already have the starter plan because I'm starting. So I've been having, as I told you, having a couple of lessons these past days. So if I
Awesome.
go through the all, how's the name? If I change plan, I lose the days I have left in the starter plan, or how it works.
We can refund you for the difference. That's usually what we'll
Okay.
do. You'll sign up and we'll figure out, we'll do the like prorated thing, right? So if you upgrade to Pro Plan or All Access, we'll take whatever time you had left in your starter plan and we'll refund you for that.
Okay. And then there's in the white glove part, we can tailor it to the Colombian market. Like said, I have this data. What can we do about it?
Yeah, we could definitely do that. We would have to, I believe Interactive Brokers works in Colombia, right?
No, it is that's the part. It's really you can trade like a couple of NDF for the Colombian peso, but it's not as liquid as the local market. But I can download the data from Bloomberg. I don't know if it's the same quality or not.
Yeah, we could definitely do that. Yeah, absolutely. I can definitely help you with that. The actual trading part of it, like we'd have to have some sort of broker to work with. But if you're talking about just back testing and that sort of thing, absolutely. We can definitely get that data.
Yeah,
Yeah, access
I
to a
was wondering
Bloomberg, we
about
can do
this
that.
part because
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think the algos will be so easy because we don't have the brokers here. And the last
Yeah.
one is about the algos. Like, how do you know when the algos stop working? Like, okay, this strategy already stopped working or doesn't have an alpha anymore. And when you're doing the algos, do you take into account the slippage, the commission cost, the spreads, and all of that?
Yeah, those are very good questions. How do you know when algo stops working? I don't know, to be quite honest with you. Whenever we backtest our algorithms, we're doing this over a long time period. Like I don't like building algorithms that only work in one scenario or another. What I usually do is I'll go and backtest for as long as I possibly can and try to get bear markets, bull markets, like any kind of different configuration so that then we know that it can survive a bear market, it can survive a bull market, it can survive whatever, right? That's usually what I'll do, and we'll try to get algorithms that are a little bit more timeless, right? Like this butterfly condor and these have been working for many many years, right? It's not like this new thing that came out of nowhere, right? It is possible though that one day, this maybe the pricing changes on it or something, and they stop being as effective. You would be able to see that in the back test. Like if you back test it or if you've been running it, it has been performing, you can tell, is it that this effect has gone away, or is it that this is typical of the algorithm? Because if you back tested it, you can tell, okay, when this scenario happens, this is what happens to the algorithm. Is it just another one of those scenarios, or is it behaving differently? Like that's the way that I would
Okay.
look at it, right? Um, and then sorry, what was your let me know if that was good enough for that question too, if you
Yeah, it
want.
was enough because in the charts you show us at the beginning, I saw that the beginning dates was around 2020. So I thought, okay, is 4 years enough of backtesting, or do you need more data, more time? So that
Yeah,
was why I was curious about it.
yeah, so we try to go back as far as possible. So this one here, the reason why it started in 2020 is because I have a subscription for 4 years of data
Okay,
from Polygon. But I recently paid for one that could go back further. So I actually feel like I should back test it going further now because now I actually can do that because I paid for that data. But really, that's the only reason why it's been that long, right?
okay,
But also, the options markets changed quite a bit over the years. So I don't know if you're aware of like how American options have changed over the past few years, but now you can trade dailies with SPY and
yeah.
QQQ and symbols,
All
whereas
DTs,
yeah, zero DTs, exactly.
zero DTs, man.
Yeah, exactly. Like those exist now. Those didn't exist like 2, 3 years ago, right? So the market does change over the years, and you can see here that I think this is pretty close to the time that they introduced zero DTEs, just took off like crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Very,
yeah,
very,
because the profit was after 2023.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and the last one was Do you take into account slippage, commission cost, spreads?
Yeah, so we take into account what we do is we add to our algorithm. So let me show you here, butterfly condor. At the bottom here, we include a trading fee essentially, right?
Okay.
So that should cover, slippage, commissions, all that kind of stuff. This one in particular, we didn't include commissions because if you work with Tradier, it's a commission-free broker, so you could trade. It's like $10,
Yeah.
no commissions. But we can kind of lump a lot of those into this type of trading fee structure. So if you have different trading fees with something that you're trading, you could actually increase or decrease this. This is a percentage fee, but you could also add in like a fixed cost fee per trade as well, right? So you can actually simulate all those different things if you wanted to.
Okay.
Right?
Okay, cool. Thank you very much. Great talk.
Yeah, no problem. Awesome. Cool. All right. And any other questions, guys?
Not for me.
Okay, perfect. All right. Well, if you do, I posted my email in there. Feel free to message me, rob@lumiwealth.com. Ricardo, you also have me on Discord, so feel free to message there if you have any questions too.
Yeah.
Other than that, yeah, just let me know what else I could do to help. If you have any questions, I can answer them. And if you guys end up joining our full plan, then I'll see you guys next Tuesday. We can keep building up this butterfly condor or condor martingale or whatever strategy you have in mind, we can actually start doing that as well in next Tuesday. Right?
Great. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, no problem. All right. Have a good night, guys.
You too.
Cheers.
Bye.
Pleasure.